you doing? Yes, I got back from church. And all glory goes to God on this Sunday. Okay. All right. How you doing? Well, I want to talk about something important. It just happened. I've been talking about this subject for a while. Very much so. Okay? The importance of being armed in these dangerous American cities. I've been going to church on this Sunday. It's been kind of miserable weather, you know. Doing what I got to do. Funny, fish man, very funny. But that being said, I know, but help me God get closer to God. Okay, let's talk about some things. I saw something very interesting. And this is another reason why I say you gotta be armed in today's day and age. You gotta be armed with something. You gotta have something on you. Because we're living in some dangerous times, people. You know. Well, hello, watermelon. I like eating watermelon. I just had some watermelon a couple days ago. And this is why I always say you gotta be armed with something. Gotta have something, you know. You can choose whatever you want to be armed with, but I tell you what, especially if you're my complexion and if you're in these big cities, any American city, and any city in Europe for that matter, you could find yourself jumped for no reason. Okay, just because of the complexion of your skin. But this one's an interesting one. And this is why I say you got to be armed. You got to be armed with whatever you can get your hands on in these cities. You know what I mean? Whatever you can get away with, you know? Whatever you can get away with, whatever you can get your hands on. You got to be armed. You know? I'm not telling you that, Nessa. I don't care. I'm not really into that, Strange. You know what I mean? I'm talking about self-defense here. I'm not talking about anything else. Nothing else but, you know, basic self-defense. You got to be armed with something out there. I'm just telling you. You can't be defenseless out there when you're out in these areas, especially if you're going to these cities. I'm telling you. Especially if you share my complexion, or let's say if you're East Asian. To the East Asian people out there, you know, like if you're Chinese, Japanese, whatever. I'm telling you, there are people out there, and I'm not saying all. I'm just saying the ghetto ones are very violent, and they hunt in packs, and they want to rob you and kill you. Okay? How you doing, Killer Play? So you got to be armed out there. And I'm telling you, you know, I just give the best advice I can give you. Carry a less than lethal launcher. Carry anything that you can get your hands on, you know. And the best of... How you doing, Sabrina? How you doing? Anything you can get your hands on, anything that you can make, anything is going to keep you survival. Yeah. So the point is here is that we don't live in... That works for you, Killer Play. I'll just call you Play. That works, Play. Thank you, Sabrina. The point is here is that, you know, in this scenario, and I got to commend... Anyway, yeah. So I say this as someone who is on the spectrum, someone who's been in bad neighborhoods. I'm not gonna answer that, Sabrina. The point is here is that I'm just trying to tell you, especially for you women out there. If you're not armed with something, you'll find yourself being a victim really quick. You know? You know, I tell them, I just tell them, what you got to do, I got to do one of these. You just got to be armed. You got to be armed in this day and age. We're living in dangerous times here. We are living in dangerous times. And very unstable times, to say the least. We got 22 views, only 4 likes. Hit that like button. A dog is good. An attack dog, yeah. Yeah. Awesome. We got 5 likes. I think we can do better than that. Dude, I don't need to know that. The point is here, we have to basically be clear. Cool, just chilling. Good for you. The point is here, if you live in these cities, I would say the best thing, let's say if you have my complexion, is to leave these cities if you haven't already. Get out of the cities, find a small town to live in, go rural. I'm sorry, you living in the cities, if you have this complexion, could get you killed. They hate you. Bottom line. I don't hate them, but they hate me, so. It's a wolf energy symbol. I'm an American. So it's got 4 wolves on it. I bought it. Thank you, Play. Hello, Lenny. The point is here, if you're living in these big cities, they're dangerous. They're just really dangerous. But in this situation, I want to say this. This guy was unarmed. He was being jumped by some youths, you could say. Quote unquote youths. What's up, Butler? He was being jumped by some youths up in Philadelphia. By the way, I actually rode past there once. But what happened was they were in a subway station, and they were jumping this white guy, and apparently he knew how to grapple, and he basically threw one of them onto the train tracks up in Philly. But imagine this could have been avoided. He wouldn't have to do that if he would have been armed. He could have stopped that before it started. He had little street smarts and had something to defend himself. But he survived that situation. He threw one of them into the train tracks. The only thing that part of me says, threw him into the train tracks. I wish a train would have been coming at that very same moment. That's what you want to do? You want to beat someone up for no reason? Yeah. You deserve to get hit by a train. I'm sorry. You do. How you doing, Bray? Well, did you move to a city, Anthony? Did you move to a city? Maybe that was your problem. You moved to a city. Anthony, you should have moved to a very rural, small town. You wouldn't have any problems. Okay. Jeez, I tell people this, You cannot live in a city. If you're my complexion, it's dangerous to live in those cities. You have to go rural. Rural. Rural or suburban. Bottom line. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Through the black market, Mojave read. Certainly not through a gun store. It's always through black market channels. But we're not talking about just guns here. I mean, this guy, there were no guns in this situation. This guy was just jumped. He was just jumped. And thank God he survived it, you know, by basically tossing one onto the railing of the subway. But if he was armed, this could have been avoided. You know, some pepper spray, some pepper gel, you know, something like this, you know, could have basically stopped a lot of them, like all of them, from getting too close to him. Well, sometimes they make them, ghost guns, you could say. Sometimes people sell them to them. There's in a black market, you're going to find things like that. Especially if you basically make deals, underground deals with people, you know. Gun runners, look up the gun runners trade, you know. People get their guns. I mean, if you're a criminal, you can easily get a gun. But, you know, these liberals try to disarm the citizen. The criminals are still going to get their guns. They're still going to have weapons. So the only thing you do is by imposing gun control is disarming citizens. You realize that, right? It's not the guns. It's the intent. It's not, you know, this can be used for just carving wood, or if someone's a psycho, they can use a knife like this for doing some serious damage to somebody. It's not the tool, it's the intent of the person. There's such a thing as good and evil out there. Bottom line, it's the intent. The hand gives the weapon. The hand guides the weapon, okay? The weapon doesn't guide itself. It is the human hand that guides the weapon. No. Like I said, there's black markets, there's ways of doing things. Good for you, Anthony Alexander. But Anthony, I'm betting you moved to a major city. You moved to Richmond, didn't you? You moved to Richmond. Boy, that was a stupid idea. If you're going to move someplace, Anthony, you should have moved to a rural community. Exactly, Al. This is why I say if you're close to my complexion, even if you're like East Asian, yeah, being in those cities is dangerous for you. Any major American city, you have to keep your head on the swivel. You know, you have to keep your head on the swivel in any major American city. You have to watch your back. And you can't just move to one. Well, I told you, Mojave, it's a black market. They find ways of either manufacturing the guns or finding ways to basically steal the guns or getting the guns through other nefarious means, okay? Either way, gun control does not disarm the criminals. They will have guns regardless. You know? Okay, that's a good thing. And you have a right to defend yourself. That's pretty good. I would just say save your money to move out of the city. Buy yourself a piece of land. That's what I would tell you. Up in West Virginia, there's land is cheap there. You could buy a piece of land easily. Yeah, because this person is stupid. This is a gun control advocate. Basically, probably an anti-self-defense advocate and all that, you know. And God bless him because he's so naive, you know. And yeah. But the point is here, it's not about the guns, because in this situation, this white guy just got jumped. Now, by the grace of God, he survived by throwing one into the train tracks and a subway. But the point is here is that I answered your question. You're just too dumb to get it. Do you know how a black market works, you dumbass? No, it doesn't upset me. It's like, dude. And I'm done answering the question for you. Yeah, you're looking to argue. And I'm done. You know what? To my moderators, Al, can you get rid of this Mojave Red? I had enough of him. You're gone, buddy. You got nothing to add to this. You got nothing to add to this discussion. So you just need to go. Yeah. Thank you, Al. Get him out of here. Yeah. Operation Fast and Furious. The government was running the guns to criminals. Yeah, I forgot about that one. How you doing, Chad? It's funny, Dragon, but nobody's bulletproof. Nobody. Yeah. Hello. Hello, Al. Another Al. Anyway. How you doing, Joseph? All right. All right. It's Joseph, I think you gotta go. Joseph, you're a little too young to be in here. Sabrina, get rid of Joseph. Yeah, you gotta go, Joseph. I'm sorry. Thank you. Here, I know. Exactly. How you doing, Kevin? No. I only mod people that I know. Anyway, the point is here is that what I'm trying to say to you, this guy could have been stomped to death if it wasn't for the fact he threw one of them onto the train tracks. But the point is that all right, you're trolling. It's time for you to go. Good boy. Go away. And moderators, deal with them. Deal with, yeah, you gotta go. Shout out to who? Noir. But, if you try, putting this, I'll put it this way. If they tried to jump me like this, I would already have my pepper gel out. And their face would be like burning. Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, you could say a MAGA, Kevin. I like RFK Jr. Yeah, but put it this way. I'm betterly prepared because I'm not going out without my pepper gel. You know what pepper gel does to somebody? This, you use this, yeah, spray it in their eyes, it sticks to them. They're a hot, sticky mess. They're burning. It's in their eyes and their nostrils. It's burning their skin. That's what you got to do. This is the fake stuff, but this is the real stuff. The point is, you gotta basically be ready. That's good for you, Sabrina. Well, carry whatever you can carry. The point is really. Look, I'm talking about a serious subject here. I don't need anything from the peanut gallery. Okay? Al, can you handle Jesse? Well, I support the veterans, but I'm not one. Oh, you're trolling me. I'm not. No, I just don't deal with it. I'm talking about a serious subject here. If you want to clown around, you can go someplace else. I'm not doing it. You want to act like a clown? Thank you. I'll keep you around. Okay. Thank you. So, what I'm talking about here, Jordan, how you doing? I know Jordan, so I'm making him moderator. There we go. You're now a moderator, Jordan. Now, Jordan has a great channel, and I respect the guy. And we talk about, different things. Very good, Jordan. Very good. I got some knives here. You've seen these before, but I didn't show this one. Check out. Okay. All right, let's just see. I'm talking about a serious topic here. I don't need no trolls making stupid stuff, Awesome. This is a Schrade. So, this is Schrade Ultimate Extreme Survival. How you doing, Rocky? How you doing, Arion? Hello, Unbeatable. The point is here is that okay. We're talking about a serious subject here. We're talking about, I saw this guy get jumped, which back in the day we called getting jumped by what youths, you could say, in Philadelphia. Now, he survived because he was able to toss one into, they were fighting in basically a subway station, And he was able to toss one into basically the railroad tracks. And that is how you do it. You toss one into the railroad tracks, and that stops it. But at the same time, he could avoid it being jumped simply by having one of these. One of these. Or a less than lethal launcher, which I cannot show. Yeah, that's a different situation. Yeah, that poor girl, she got stabbed to death by that psycho. By that psycho ghetto bastard. You know what I mean? Yeah. A very beautiful woman, by the way. Too bad that her life was cut short. But what I'm talking about, Jordan, is I'll send the clip to you. Basically, there was and this happened in Philadelphia. That happened in basically there was a attempt at jumping a white guy on the subway, and he was able to get a hold of one of them and toss him into the tracks. You know, and this is why I say avoid the cities. They are, Jordan. I agree. We agree on a lot of things, Jordan. And I always tell people avoid the cities as much as possible. It's particularly if you're our complexion, Jordan, because they. And I'm not even maybe hateful of any other group, but the thing is, there are people in those cities that hate you just for the color of your skin. Okay. So you got to be prepared. You got to have a less than lethal launcher. You got to have some pepper gel. Maybe a stun gun. Some knives. Anything you can get your hands on. Or a firearm if you can get it. You know? Anything. Whatever you can get your hands on. You got to be ready for that situation. This guy could have avoided all the bumps and all the broken ribs and simply by being armed in the first place. So true, Jordan, so true. But the point is that you're your own best defender. No one's coming to save you. Nobody is coming to save you. You know? Awesome, Bray. No one's bull, Steve. No one's coming to save you. But I'm saying the mistake he made was not being aware of his surroundings and not being armed. That was the mistake that he made. Luckily, he got off by the skin of his teeth. And that poor young lady, well, she got ambushed and murdered by that very, very deranged, psychopathic man, I'll say, you know. The point is that you got to protect yourself. You gotta. Exactly. Got to have your back against the wall, and you got to be ready for a situation like that. You cannot let them get that close to you. You can't. Yeah, you can't be playing on your phone. No, you got to be aware of the situation. You got to be ready. I do too, Anthony Alexander. Yeah. And we both know that I'm not saying all blacks are bad people. I'm just saying the ghetto ones will try to kill you. If you let them. If you let them get that close to you. Yes, another great idea. Uh, another great idea, Jordan. That's another good one, but that's a different lesson, Elsa. Well, I'll put it this way, Steve. Every animal has every animal has things they have to defend themselves. You know, bulls have horns, cats have claws, wolves have teeth. Why do you think that is? So self-defense is in the natural world. Every creature on this earth defends themselves when they're threatened. Yes, the skunks too, the porcupines, whatever. I don't know. You tell me, Equalizer. Exactly. What's that, Lenny? What's that? So, I hope this helps you understand. Yeah, they do. They do. Other animals may not have defenses, like rabbits, for example. They have to basically use speed. Certain prey animals don't have any natural defenses. Some of them have to hide in burrows and use speed. But there are a lot of animals that do have a lot of natural defenses. There's snails that in the ocean that can shoot poison darts. There's the bombardier beetle that can shoot a very hot liquid. So a lot of animals have ways of defending themselves in the natural world. What does that tell you? You know? As for we humans, we have our brains. Our brains make tools to defend ourselves or to build. So, we have our brains. It is the human mind that creates the weapon. Oh yeah, that one. Well, I do have a thing for redheads, I'll say. Very pretty redheads, I mean. But All right, 3-star, perfect deer. All right, I got nothing for this. This trolling. I gotta. All right, here's the thing. You want to be funny? It's not the night to be funny. Okay, I'm talking about a serious topic, a life and death topic. If you're going to be funny, you could be. How you doing, professional? I don't need to tell you a damn thing, professional. Hmm. Yes, there's also a similar defense by the bombardier beetle, except the bombardier beetle secretes a hot liquid, a hot sticky liquid that burns its enemies, and so it's attackers. Yeah. Well, thank you, Adam. So, mm, I know, but you gotta. I'm telling you where we're headed. I'm talking about this topic, and it's worth talking about because a young lady lost her life on a subway up in Memphis. This is serious as a heart attack. This could have been avoided with a little street smarts and being armed. Her biggest mistake was basically sitting in a seat where someone was behind her. I wouldn't do that. I'm using this as an example. As an example, that all creatures in nature seek to defend themselves and have the natural defenses to defend themselves. Yeah, she put her back she was too close to that guy. She shouldn't have took that seat. Shouldn't have. But this guy, although he survived the day and he managed to toss one of the guys that was jumping him into the subway, which is, by the way, I've noticed about ghetto like basically hood rats are ghetto people. If you basically if one of them goes down, they stop. If for some reason, if just one of them goes down, they back off. I've seen that in the real world. I've experienced that. One of them goes down, they back off. You make an example out of one of them, they all back off. They are, Jordan, but you're in here. Well, I do. I'll tell you later about what I've been dealing with lately. Well, I think that she should have had some street smarts. She came from another country, a very different country. And she didn't understand how things work in America. And that's what got her killed, is her lack of knowledge and her lack of street smarts. Yeah. If they're respectful, they can stay. If they don't respect me, if they don't respect the stream, get rid of them. I'm not playing, it's just if they're being rude, they're being rude. And that's it. For real. What are you talking about? Now I'm gonna make an exception for real. I know him. He's cool. You know. Okay. Anyway, the point is here. This is a very serious topic, and this could be the difference between life and death. Okay, Jordan. Thank you, Adam. But some, Anthony. No, paranoia. The point is that yeah, you got to be ready for these kind of situations. You got to be, and also you have to have some situational awareness. Certain places you shouldn't go. You know, so, and if you're in an area where, let's say, it's diverse, okay, keep your head on a swivel. Keep your back to the wall. Don't let anyone sneak up behind you. And above all else, be armed. Be armed. Whatever you can arm yourself with, be armed. Yeah. You know? Yeah, that's a good deal. Whatever works for you, Strange. Yeah. Anyway, I think that. Yeah. Anyway, let's just get to the subject we're talking about. Brain Dead, how you doing? Yeah, well, it depends on what he wants me to do, and I'm not going to do that. You know? All right. All right, Pubes. You're just trolling. Get rid of Strange Pubes. I'm sorry, he's just trolling. He's not trying to be serious. Yeah. Remember what I said about respect. If you don't have it, don't come here. Okay. Very good. Nah, give him 5 minutes to cool his jets. You know? That being said, we're doing what we can here. Yeah, most of them aren't that funny. They're just disgusting. You know? Anyway, this subject is very near and dear to... Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not really caring about that, Malice. Not really talking. I don't really care if he is or not. I mean, that's neither here nor there. Um, I am just very true, for real, for real. And I do have a good sense of humor when I'm talking about a serious subject, a subject about life and death. Why does this have to be a joke? You know? I'm talking about a serious subject where if you don't have situational awareness, and if you know, and that's so true, Jared. But the point is that it's a serious subject, and it's one. This information could save your life. You know, don't go into. I would say to this, okay, if you can avoid, if you can avoid all the major American cities, at the very least, move to the suburbs. But I don't even think the suburbs are completely safe. I don't. You know what I mean? I think the more rural you are, the more smaller the county, the more smaller the town, the better off you are. The smaller the community, the better off you are. The safer you are. At least from crime. Exactly, brain dead. Yes, better in the sticks, Rebel. Better in the sticks. You're better off there, although it's a little quieter. You're better off living there. And that's my philosophy too, Jordan. That's what I'm seeking to get to. No, you're not. And you're not. Whoa, so we got a faker. Jordan, get rid of this fake. He's not me. That is not me. Get rid of this fake Slingshot Warrior Outdoors. That is not me. Yeah, we get that a lot. You can't. Well, if you can't pretend. There's only one Slingshot Warrior. Except no imitations. Which is no, it's me. Yep. The point is you got to have yourself ready. But yeah, this is a life and death situation. It's getting worse out there. I don't care who the president is. It's getting worse. But I'll say this, at least in America, you have greater self-defense rights. Yeah. I know, Jordan. And for those who don't know, this is my good friend Jordan Jareb. Check out his channel. Cool guy. Tells a great story. He's running for sheriff of his county up in Florida. Liberty Slingshots. I got that from the East Coast Slingshot Tournament, Adam. That's good, Rebel. The point is the more rural you are, the safer you are. If the more concealed by trees and fences and stuff like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Pry suited. Are you saying poorly or it's liberty slingshot? I believe in freedom, personal freedom. You gotta have rights. Or is it properly suited? Or is it poorly or properly suited? I'm not sure which. I'll go with properly. How you doing, Anthony? Ah, yes. Exactly. Exactly, Jordan. Yeah. Ain't no law, so that's good. You have my support, but I can't vote for you because I don't live in your state. That's how it is, you know. Probably not. That's not my life goal anymore. It's basically having my own land. Owning land, pretty much. Owning land, you know. That's my goal. Owning rural property. I understand that, Jordan, but it's something I want. Okay, we got some good stuff going. Man, this is a good stream. Let me show you my knife design, Jordan. I think you'll love this one. I designed this knife, and a blacksmith made it, but he said he wasn't going to sell it to me or give it to me. You know, he built the knife that I designed. You know, what do you think about this knife design? It is still worth having. I just want a small trailer on my land to live in, and a work shed, and possibly some solar panels, and maybe maybe like a electric, you know, like a windmill, some and wood stove. So what do you think about this knife design I came up with? It's futuristic, but it's designed so it has a flat spine and an angled edge. It's a combat knife, you know. Exactly, Jordan. That's what my grandpa did. Yeah, it is a very futuristic looking knife. Someone made it though. I thought I could buy. So I asked him how much I could buy it from him, but he said it was just an art piece. And but he gave me the credit. He made the knife. A guy called Cat's Cradle Forge made it. He just wouldn't sell it to me. Understandable, Sabrina? Yeah. So true, Adam. Thank you, Adam. That's true, Anthony. Uh, awesome, Jordan. Cool, Anthony. But like I said, Anthony, save your money from the cities, okay? Work your job, save your money, and buy some rural property. You live in Virginia. You can just go to West Virginia and buy a patch of land out in the mountains. Put a trailer on it, and you can go off grid. So do I. I think I have one, something like it. Yeah. Here we go. Well, I also have this Cold Steel SRK. The Cold Steel SRK. Pretty good. Thank you, Adam. Okay. Here we go. A generic K-bar, but okay. Thank you. Yes, it's the D2 version. I do like the Cold Steel SRK. Search and Rescue. Cold Steel. This was given to me. Now, this is a cheap Chinese S-Tech knife, but it's razor sharp out of the box. It's razor sharp out of the box. It's got a good sheath on it. I've customized the sheath with a Rob line, stronger than paracord, made of Kevlar. This Rob line is much stronger than paracord. It's made of Kevlar. Tough stuff. So this is a for a cheap knife, this is a good beater knife. You can't beat this kind of knife. It's got a good sheath. You can customize the sheath to whatever you want. It's got a glass breaker. It's got a plastic handle with a rubberized grip with a little bit of a dip in here, a groove. It's got a pistol type grip. Very good on the grip. It's a cheaper version of this. You know? I don't think so. No, it's not. It's not a Gerber. It's a cheap. This one's a Cold Steel SRK. It's made by Cold Steel. Search and Rescue. It's got a thick spine. This one is a cheaper knife, but it's razor sharp out of the box, and It's easy to sharpen as well, and surprisingly tough for a cheap knife like this. Surprisingly tough. It's a good beater knife. This is a knife you could actually buy a whole bunch of them because they're like, I paid $8.99 for this one. You could buy a whole bunch of these, and these are trading items. You could actually trade for these in a SHTF situation. If you have a bunch of these lying around, you could actually use these as bargaining items, like trading items. Oh, you want a knife? What are you trading me for? You know, you could actually trade for these cheap knives. And these would be worth their weight in gold in a bad situation. Exactly. Exactly. Exactly, Jordan. Oh, cool. Ow. I know it. Tops is awesome. So true, Jordan. Yeah, I understand that. I'm just saying these could be bargaining items in a bad situation. Let's say civilization breaks down and you have a bunch of these lying around. You can use these as bargaining items. You know, when people are in a bad situation. Exactly. But this is your beater knife. This is your beater knife. These are knives that are good. They're not that bad. They're razor sharp out of the box. You can baton with them. You can like do some like wood. You can basically do wood shavings with them. You can basically get your fire starter kit. That's true too, Jordan. I'm just saying that these are $8.99 a piece, so you can buy a whole like five of these and have them from round. Keep one for yourself maybe, and use them as bargaining chips just in case. You know, just in case you need something to barter with. You know what I mean? No. The in SCJ that in a shit hits the fan scenario, Adam. Those kind of items would be worth their weight in gold. I never was in the military, Steve. I was in martial arts because other people do. You know, for example, I guess you can use this, Jordan. Cigarettes are, you may not smoke in prison, but cigarettes are like currency, aren't they? You know? Jordan. Yeah, we're just backwoods boys. The point is I don't know, mate. Look, I have that look. Now, I will say I have a grandfather and a father who served, but I never did. And you don't have to serve in the military to be patriotic. Uh, you don't. All right. Well. Oh man, I got so many likes. We got rid of the bad people. Exactly. All you have to know is hunting. And I've hunted in the backwoods when I was a kid, and so I know these kind of tactics. All right, Kobe. I think it's time for you to go. Um, I mean, it just sounds stupid. It just sounds utterly stupid what you just said. I award you no points. Ishinru karate. Ishinru karate as in karate. Ishinru. Ishinru karate. 6 years. Hope that answers your question. Well, oh man. Well, this has been a topic that's dear and dear to my heart. I will talk about some other things on the next stream. About about a few other things. Yeah, I know. These trolls, I mean, okay, when I was 13, and I said this before, I did prank phone calls. I messed with truckers on CB radios. But guess what? I'm not 13 anymore. We were trolling before there was a name for it. Before there was the internet. It's ISSHYNRYU. Hey, I like my hair. Thank you very much. Hmm. 19. All right. Well, I was on Jordan's stream, and I talked about, and in Jordan's stream, I talked about why people need to learn primitive weapons. People need to learn how to use a spear, how to use a blade, how to use a slingshot. Also, how to use a club. Something as simple as a wooden stick, or, let me show you something. You know what this is? This is a simple but effective tool. This is a slapjack. Some people call it a beaver tail. It's perfect for when you have to get up close and personal. Whack! Simple but effective. Old school. Doesn't require any ammunition. No CO2. No batteries. The police used to carry these. Exactly. Jordan. But I would suggest getting one of these if you can legally get one. I was able to order one. Now I think I got this at a no, I now remember where I got it. I didn't order this, but I got it at a sale barn. Well, you wouldn't want to use this for that. I'll tell you why. This is leather with lead, Jordan. This is designed to whack someone's head. You can use the sides, but this is a weighted club kind of thing. It was I think it was invented 100 years ago by criminals. Basically, there's different versions of these. This was before we had less than lethal, so it's old school, but it'll pow. Yeah, the blackjack. Yeah, you can get one of these. They're very effective. Jordan. Well, oh boy. Well, I don't think we will. I don't think I would ever do that. But it could basically crack your skull. But that's, but that's exactly. And you can still get them, but I don't think they'll be legal in your state, Al. Yeah. How you doing, Jaden? Well, Malice. Let me explain to you, Malice, about the streets, Malice. If you think that you're going to win a fair fight on the streets, you're a moron. Okay? Yeah, it's good to train with your hands. I get that. But at the same time, Malice, people don't play by the rules on the streets, because on the streets, there are no rules. So you better be expecting the unexpected if you're in a street fight. I'm just telling you. You better play to win, because the other guy or other guys are going to play to win. Don't expect anyone to fight fair on the streets. They're fighting to survive. Yeah. There are no rules. Exactly. Exactly, Jordan. I keep telling people this. You think that the streets are a boxing match? They're not. I'll put it this way. If nobody saw it, it didn't happen. Al, you got enough money, I would tell you to move. Just get out of there. Jersey is not the place for you, bro. I'd say move down to to Pennsylvania. You'll be fine. I'm planning to move myself, you know. Yeah, Florida does have the best self-defense laws, I will say. I'd say just leave New Jersey, man. Leave it. Leave it and flee it. There's greener pastures elsewhere. You're a good guy, man. You shouldn't be living that hellhole. You know what I mean? I'm planning to leave my hellhole too, so yeah. A wise decision, Jaden. Yeah, yeah, Steve. For real, for real. I don't think you. Yeah, move to Florida, man. You'll be much happier. It's warm all year round. I mean, interesting, Jaden. Cool, Steve. I think you'd be happier in Florida. I'd say, you got a car, you got a vehicle. Just basically, if you got a place, sell it and go to Florida. That's all I can say. Yeah, sounds great. Blue eyes. Sounds great. Blue eyes. Hello, Bradley. How you doing? Now, every place has its weather. You know what I mean? But at least it's warm. I totally agree with that, Jordan. I would never see. I'm not a liberal. I'm a Christian, so I'm very conservative. If let's say, I hypothetically moved to Florida, I'm not bringing liberal values with me. I'm bringing Christian conservative values with me. That's funny, Steve. Good to see you too, Bradley. But I would say this: this is a perfect thing to have to test out. Trust me. Amen. All glory goes to God, Jaden. All glory. That's very good, Jordan. Amen to that, Al. Happy birthday. I'm not repeating that name. I don't know what that means, and it sounds like a troll name. Nah. Sorry. I'm no fan of George W. Bush, okay? just because I'm conservative doesn't mean I was a fan of George W. Bush. I was not. And still am not. I think he was a horrible president. I am Southern, actually. I come from Southern roots, Jaden. My family originally came from two places, Virginia and and North Carolina. I have Southern roots. I agree with that, Jordan. And the thing is, I was no supporter of Bush, okay? You know, you think I'm conservative. You think I support endless wars? I don't. I don't think that these wars are anything good for us. It doesn't help us. People think I support this kind of crap. I don't. um, you know, and people think I agree with everything the president says, the current president. Not everything. You know? So, but you gotta take the good with the bad, you know? Probably not, Blue Eyes. Funny, Jaden. Amen. No, wait, whoa, no. No way to that, Sidsloff. Right, no, Christ is king, Sidsloff. I almost got past my head. No, Trump is not the king. Okay, Christ is king. What's the best thing? I think appointing Mr. Kennedy as the Secretary of Health and Human Services was the best thing he could do. Mr. Kennedy is really doing God's work and making America healthy again. You know, some of the worst things he did was basically, you know, sending U.S. troops to Iran, bombing Iran. I don't support that. You know what I mean? I don't want to be involved in any foreign entanglements. I totally agree, Jordan. And that's what so you take what you get, you know, the good. That is a weird question, chick. I don't even know how to answer that, and I won't. But, you know, people assume I'm this gung-ho Trump supporter. No, I support Trump because he's done some good things. He's done some good things in this current administration. He has. And I'm not going to deny that in any way deal. But there are some things I am critical of him for. You know what I mean? You know, some things, you know, I hate what he's done for immigration. You know, it's not that bad. He's done some pretty good things on immigration. Has he done things, you know, but when it comes to foreign policy, I don't agree with it. You know what I mean? No, I didn't. So, no president is perfect, though. I don't expect him to be a perfect leader to do everything I want. No. At the very least, he's put. I count my blessings is what I do. Um, he's basically cleaning. He's got RFK Jr. Stopping these vaccine mandates. Uh, Doing things that are good. Getting bad stuff out of the food supply. Stuff I agree with. Taking down big pharma, because I am no fan of big pharma. You think I'm conservative, but you think I would be a fan of, like the pharmaceutical industry? No, I'm not. I've had some bad experiences with these people. They've had far too much power for far too much long, and they've done a lot of damage to children. I'm sorry, no. Big pharma, every one of them should be arrested. And all the government people that collaborate with them should be arrested. For the forced child drugging they did, for the vaccine mandate, everything. You know? That's funny, Jordan. But yeah, and that's all I got to say about it. In conclusion, your personal safety is your responsibility. I don't care who you are. If you're not taking personal responsibility for your personal safety, who is? I'm going to let you know the cops are not always going to be there to save you. You're going to be in places and situations where the cops can't just get there really quick. You are your own best protector. If you are not ready and prepared in these times, you're going to get mowed over. Bottom line. Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying that cops are bad. What I'm saying is, Sid, is that cops will not get there in time to save your ass. Okay? They're not going to get there in time. Here's how long it takes for the cops to get there. And let's say you find yourself in a situation where there are no cops. You find yourself in a dark corner of the world where you have to fend for yourself. You have to be your own defender out here. Yeah, exactly, Buckeye. Exactly. So, this attitude we have as Americans is let the police handle it. I got news for you. There are times and situations where the police are just not going to be there. And they're not going to help you. And nobody's coming to save you. No politician, no police officer, no soldier. They're not coming to save you. If you're not ready, you're going to be destroyed. Really? I'm clueless, huh, Brandon? Tell me how I'm wrong. Tell me how I'm wrong. This country's a big country. You could find yourself in a situation where there's not a cop for miles. There's nobody to help you. Yeah. And unless you're prepared to defend yourself, you're fucked. This liberal... I don't know what it is with this liberal point of view where they believe that no one should have a right to defend themselves, where self-defense is just wrong from their point of view. I don't know why. I don't know where they get that. Well, that's more than you got. And do you realize it takes only seconds for you to be murdered? Just a split second and you're dead. Do you understand that? The cops have minutes. You have seconds. It only takes a quarter of a second. And you're done. Exactly, Jordan. So the cops may be 15 minutes away, but it doesn't matter because they'll just be mopping up your body afterwards. They'll be putting the toe tag on you. In conclusion, it's better to be judged by 12 than carried out by 6. Good for you, Kyle. A patriotic American there. I gotta go. God bless you. All glory goes to God.